I wanted to circle back on this topic because there was a part of the post that I didn't address. The last part was, what is too high? Now, that is up to the barber or stylist that chose to be a 1099 independent contractor, self employed, AKA work for yourself, be your own boss person. Now, I personally feel like there is misplaced accountability that happens all too often. When people come in my shop and they ask how many or how much the booth rent is each week, and then they follow that question up with, well, how many walk-ins do you guys get, on a day or weekly or monthly basis? That to me demonstrates this disconnection that is just such an interesting dichotomy. And I can tell that the barber or stylist thinks that there's a correlation between how much booth rent is and how many walk-ins we get. And those two numbers are not commiserate. They're not connected or correlated. I think a lot of shop owners calculate what their booth rent is going to be based on a shared number of the overhead cost. Some shops will charge booth rent based on how much your barber charges or how much walk-in traffic there is. I'm certain that someone does it that way. I wouldn't even be surprised if most shops do it that way, but we don't do it that way. Our booth rent is not commiserate with how many walk-ins you can expect to get each week or each month. That has nothing to do with how we price our booths in my shop. Now, what we do is different than what other shops do, so I can't speak for everybody. But I'm trying to give context to this topic as a lot of shop owners see it. And when you decide to be your own boss, you have to understand that every aspect of your business is your responsibility. I think the only thing a shop owner is responsible for is protecting and controlling the environment. Now, our environment is family friendly, so we want to be able to service everybody in the household. We want everybody to feel comfortable. But there are a lot of shops that they don't care about that. They don't care about servicing women or children. They don't care about servicing the LGBTQ plus YA community. They don't care about anything other than serving men of a certain age. They don't care about keeping weed and alcohol and bad language out of the shop. And that's their business. My business model is to service as many people as possible because I understand that walk-in traffic is a challenge. And if I don't protect the environment, then we're going to have a fraction of the walk-in traffic that we could have. So that's why I am responsible. That's why I have chosen the responsibility of making sure that I protect the culture and the environment of the shop. But outside of that, that's the only thing that I am responsible for. And when you are a 1099 self-employed independent contractor, AKA your own boss, everything about the client interaction is your own. So if the client that you take as a walk-in does not come back to you, that is not my fault. Now, if the environment that I said that I was going to cultivate falls short, then that is my fault. If the reason that a person doesn't come back to you is because the environment is dirty, is because the language was not clean, is because it wasn't a kid-friendly experience or an LGBTQ plus YA whatever experience, then that's when it's my fault. But outside of that, the only thing that I am guaranteeing you as a booth renter in my shop, if you are your own boss, is a place to work. And the reason that that is the only thing that I am guaranteeing you, and that's the only thing that your booth rent covers, is because that's what my landlord does for me. My landlord does not advertise my business, so why would I advertise yours? My landlord does not market my business. My landlord does not guarantee that I have a certain amount of cars parked in the parking lot or people opening my door. My landlord does not guarantee that. And I'm paying, like I said, in a previous video, around $5,000 a month just to keep the doors open and the lights on. So if I'm paying that much money each month and all I get is a place to do business, what entitles you as someone that works for yourself and you're only paying $200 a week? What entitles you to more? If I'm paying significantly higher to keep the lights on and the doors open than you are, why do you expect me as a shop owner to market for you, advertise for you, buy billboards, get radio ads, get signs all over the city, advertise on the internet, pay Google, pay Instagram, pay Facebook, pay TikTok, pay all these platforms? What makes you think that you are entitled to those things as a independent, self-employed, 1099, work for yourself person? What makes you think you're entitled to those things when I'm paying significantly more than you are to keep the lights on? Not to mention how much money I spent to make the shop look and work the way it does. Not to mention all the chairs I've bought, in, the product supplies, the furnishings, the TVs, the internet, like all the things that I've provided. What makes you think that your measly $200 a week entitles you to the world? Because again, my landlord is charging me significantly more than I'm charging you as a renter in my shop. And I'm not even guaranteed neighbors. Let me give you a picture of what my strip mall looks like. It's an L-shaped strip mall. On one side of my strip mall, there was a coffee shop that shut down about a year ago. So that coffee shop is not helping my business at all. They're not bringing us any foot traffic. They're not bringing us any eyeballs or attention. Next to the coffee shop that shut down over a year ago is a gun store that brings us very little attention, eyeballs, or traffic. I am vehemently opposed to gun stores, especially being so close to my shop and schools as my shop is. But they bring us very little foot traffic. They themselves don't get a lot of foot traffic. Next to the gun store is a residential pool installation company. They literally go months without an employee showing up to that building. So that building brings us no attention, eyeballs, or traffic. Next to the pool installation company is State Farm. State Farm is not a high traffic business. They bring us very little to no eyeballs, attention, or traffic. On the corner of my strip mall, there's a dental office. This dental office is rarely open. They are a part of a large conglomerate. They have several locations throughout the Houston area. Their employees rotate from location to location to location. So there are several days out of the week where they are closed. That dental office brings us no attention, eyeballs, or traffic. On the other side of my business, there was a med spa that shut down a month ago. That med spa was barely open during the week. They were shut down 3 or 4 days a week. They brought us very little attention, eyeballs, or traffic. Next to the med spa that shut down a month ago is a donut shop. That donut shop is open at 5 a.m. and they close at noon every day. Half the week, we don't open till noon. So that donut shop is bringing us very little attention, eyeballs, or traffic. So again, I ask you, if my landlord is not even guaranteeing me neighbors, they're not guaranteeing me any level of success, all they are providing me is a place to work. What makes a barber or stylist that is 1099, independent contractor, work for yourself, aka your own boss? What makes you entitled to me advertising for your business, making sure that clients come and get their haircut by you and return? Why am I entitled to doing all of those things when I'm paying significantly more money than you are to keep the building open? And I furnished the building. I paid for the chair that you use, all of the things. And the answer is because we're not. Now, if you were in a commission shop or a hourly shop, we are entitled or we are responsible for providing those things only because we have a vested interest when the people come through the door. But when you're booth rent and all you're required to pay is what booth rent is, if one person gets a haircut out of your chair or 100, that makes no difference to me. I want you to be as successful as possible, but I don't care if you're not. And let me be clear, I want you to be successful. I'm pulling for your success because as you go, we go. The more money you make, the happier you are, the better the shop operates, so on and so forth. But I want you to understand this is not socialism. I do not have any desire to extend myself to make you successful when you chose to be your own boss. That means that you are betting on yourself, and you have to accept the good with the bad. Now, if you find a shop that is high traffic with tons of walk-ins and tons of repeat business, more than likely that is either a commission shop or an hourly shop. Because if I've done the hardest thing to do in this industry, which is to get people to come in the building and sit in your chair and pay you money, what the hell do I need you for? I don't. You are replaceable. You are exchangeable. So understand, when you go to a shop, if you have an expectation that the booth rent is high, that the walk-in traffic is high, the booth rent is probably high too. And in addition to that, if the walk-in traffic is super high, you might even have the option to do booth rent. You might only be able to be an employee or as a commission or an hourly worker. So again, I want to be clear. I want the best for everybody. I make these videos from all these different perspectives that I have access to because I want to educate the industry so that people have more clear expectations in the roles that they play. I am a consumer. I pay businesses and people for goods and services. So sometimes I make videos from that perspective. I am a barber. I make videos to educate consumers so they have an understanding of why some barbers do what they do, why they do, how they do. I also make videos as a barber because there are a lot of shop owners that have never cut hair before. They've never been barbers. I used to work for 2 shops that the owners never cut hair. Never. So sometimes I make videos to give owners like them context on why some barbers operate the way that they do. I also make videos as an owner because I've owned a shop for 4.5 years. And I understand that a lot of people have never been shop owners and never will be. So I try to educate the rest of the information gap about what it's like to be an owner so that you guys understand where we as owners are coming from. Now, again, not every owner operates the way that I do, but the way that I operate is, I think, the way a lot of owners will. So again, I'm just doing my best to educate and give context so that people understand as many sides of this conversation as they can. But if I missed something, if I left something out, or if I got something wrong, please comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please keep it respectful. I do not enjoy blocking people. I do not enjoy deleting or muting comments. I want this discussion to be had because there is information gaps and I don't have all the answers. Share this video with someone that has an opinion on the topic if you don't, or at the very least, share this video with someone that needs to hear this conversation. I am Sean Cuss Asian on social media. I stream Thursday through Monday on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, sometimes Facebook. On TikTok, I stream from 2 different perspectives. This is Tiger Cut's perspective. If you guys like this perspective better, please let me know. I plan to go back to my original format because I just like the way it looks. But I try to post daily. It's difficult. These videos take a lot of time to make. But I would love to hear your feedback on this topic because I think that this can help a lot of people understand where everybody's coming from if they knew the missing link of the owner's perspective on this topic. But yeah, if you think I got it wrong, I'd love to hear from you. Please hit all the buttons, do all the things. I really and truly appreciate your time. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for listening.